it's a work thing. It's a sharing thing.
What's up? Late night. Just thought I'd check in. I've been a little busy today. And I gotta guess that nobody is up right now. So this is just for the true late night freaks that are out there in the Earlverse. And you can't sleep. And you want a little bit of soothing baritone to fall asleep to. And you know, we have a lot of international listeners here in the Earl world. You know, you might be in Saigon or, you know, London, England, Australia, wherever. And I might be your choice of entertainment for the next few moments. And I appreciate you guys. Right now it's currently 12:53 Pacific Standard Time in the AM. So I don't do too many of these late night streams, but because I'm rarely home at this time of night. But you know what? I'm a giver. I had a good show at the Comedy Store Saturday night. In attendance was the great guitar player of Alice Cooper, Ryan Roxy. Of course, I was with Ryan all day Friday at NAMM, the music convention. That was fun. Got to see a lot of longtime friends that I had not seen in a minute, including the great bass player Tal Wilkenfeld. And saw many other people. NAMM is like it's like the Comic Con for working musicians, so it's pretty neat. I highly recommend you go to it. It's once a year, held in Anaheim, California, and I feel a sneeze coming on. What up? What up? Hello. Excuse me. What up, Mike America? Mr. America. If you are new to the stream, please hit the like and subscribe button. I don't know who that is, to be honest with you. Loopy Soup. I'm friends with a lot of 80s metal guys. So, Zanara in the house. I'm not very familiar with Victor. I mean, I would say, there was I think there's 5,000 booths. It's overwhelming. It's all gear, Marshall amps, Jackson guitars, Les Paul, every guitar company in the world, every drum company in the world. I don't, Loopy, I don't. Unless he played in Poison or Rat, I'm probably not going to know who he is. Apologize for warning you, but I've disappointed a lot of people. See ya, Loopy. I know of Jeff Pilson, the bass player. I've actually had to kick Don Dokken out of Motorhead's dressing room one night. I used to date one of the managers for Motorhead, and she was like, "Hey, there's some guy in Lemmy's dressing room. Will you kick him out? And I went back there, and it's Don Dokken like stealing Lemmy's beer. And he's like, "Oh man, Lemmy said it was cool." I'm like, "I know Lemmy. He didn't say it was cool. Beat it." So I've met George Lynch before. He used to date the girl who cut my hair. I've never met Mick Brown. I've met Jeff Pilson at the Comedy Store one night. Very nice guy. I know his wife. I knew his wife when she used to date Bruce Kulick, of all people. All roads lead back to Bruce. I don't know the guys from Loudness. Never met them. I know a lot of people from Slash's solo band. I'm pretty much friends with all those guys. Alice Cooper's band. I've had Nita Strauss and Ryan Roxy on my podcast. I know Glenn Sobel, the drummer. I know Eric Singer from Kiss. You know, I know that the '80s butt rock guys. So, I've been around the. You know, I live right below the Sunset Strip, so I'm very familiar with bands that were big on the Sunset Strip. And it's pretty cool, you know, to know those guys and have them. You know, most of them are pretty nice. I really not too many weenies in that genre of music. I know Joey Allen from Warrants and, you know, yada yada. I don't, I mean, I know of Autograph, but I've never met anyone from the band to my knowledge. Of course, when I dated the manager for Motorhead for like 6 years, I got to meet a lot of people in that genre of music, you know, like Megadeth and, you know, Suicidal Tendencies and, you know, probably, who else? I mean, all their opening bands, you know, guys from Iron Maiden and Dio. And I was actually the usher at Lemmy's funeral. And I did such a good job because I knew, now me and the girl I was dating, we had broken up, but she called me and said, "Hey, can you usher Lem's funeral? You're going to be the only guy I know who knows all these guys." I do know about Kiss. I did such a good job that Wendy Dio, Ronnie James Dio's wife, said to my ex when the bass player from Dio died, Jimmy Bain, he's like, "Hey, can you get your ex back here? He was really good at ushering people in and out." Gray White was a great band, you know. I mean, they just, it's an awful story. You know, just like, I mean, whoever okayed the pyro, it's a horrible, horrible story. But unfortunately, I saw Great White, oh man, a couple years ago, and it was probably the worst concert I've ever seen. And here's the crazy thing: I saw them at the Wiltern with Enough's Enough opening, and Enough's Enough was great. They killed it. And then Great White was just bad. I think the original singer and maybe the guitar player was original, Mark Kendall, I think. And the other guys were just subs. But definitely the worst sounding show I've ever been to. And I've been to probably literally 1,000 concerts. And I'm 56, so I've been to a lot of concerts. Probably from the age of 18 to 56, I go to at least 10 to 20 concerts a year. I've never met Yngwie Malmsteen. Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Good morning. I'm not a huge fan of his. He's a great guitar player, you know, probably the best speed guitar player in the world. But I don't know. I like Jake E. Lee, Brad Gillis, you know, stuff like that. But Malmsteen's, he's a monster for sure. Well, I don't think Great White had, you know, Once Bitten, Twice Shy was probably their biggest hit, and that was a cover. So, you know, their original material, not the best. I mean, they just had, they were pretty good on MTV, and they got on some good tours. I think they opened up for Kiss and stuff like that. But uh, I don't know. They just didn't do it for me. They weren't the best looking group of guys, and back then it was huge. I mean, that's why Tesla never really popped huge. They weren't a good looking group, and at that time frame, people wanted to look at people like Bret Michaels and Vince Neil and Robin Crosby. I'm not going to the Warped Tour. I don't like Wasp, but I mean, I actually snuck Chris Holmes into a Motorhead show. Um, my favorite Wasp song is Wild Child. I like the video. I'm a wild child, come and love me. I want you. My heart's in exile. I want you to love me. Did you ever listen to Queensryche? I, I've never really gotten into them. I did see them in concert once at Rocklahoma. I felt really bad for them. They had to follow Jackal, and this was in Oklahoma, so Jackal really had the southern crowd eating out of the palm of their hand. So they did a meet and greet after their set, and half the crowd left to go to that, and I always felt a little bad for Queensryche. Not really. I'm not a bit. Mike, where are you from? You seem like you have a European flair to you. Um, I'm not a big Zebra fan, but I don't dislike them. I just, I don't know if you'd say I would like them. How was the convention? Convention was great, AW. It was very overwhelming. I mean, like I was previously talking in this. Oh, okay, my bad, my bad. Midwester. Like I was saying earlier, I think there was like 5 to 6 thousand booths. You got every guitar company in the world. You got every amp company in the world. Guitar strings, guitar straps, drums, electronic, type of gear. Keyboards and microphones and okay, whatever you need to either be in a band or have a home studio or whatever was there. So it was, I'm not a musician. I mean, I was interested in some of the microphone booths that I saw. Um, I'm always looking for ways to improve my recording process, but I was very tired. That was a very, very long day. It's a lot of walking. I definitely got my steps in. Oh, James Jameson. Skull! You ever see early Queens of the Stone Age or Kiss? $2 New Zealand. I have not. I'm not really into those bands. And I'm not against them. I can not be into a band, but I'm not against them. I've recently, Mike, thank you very much for that. Yeah, AW, I'm not a trade show guy. I don't go to Comic Con or whatever, but, I go to NAMM every couple of years. I had a pass via Ryan Roxy and also representing the Comedy Store. So would I go again next year? I don't know. I get a little bored, but it's fun to see. Like I haven't seen my friend Tall in 3 years, so it was awesome to see her. I don't go to Rick's channel, Mike, but what I do, there's a new channel, or maybe it's new to me, where they have a famous drummer listen to a style of music they've never listened to before, and they have them play the song, and it's like I think they had Stuart Copeland of the Police, who had never listened to Metallica before, play Enter Sandman. So they take out the drums and everything else is the band, and he plays the drums as to what he hears, and then they play him the original version. It's really, I like that. Good morning, good morning. Who do you think is the best guitarist? Uh, Tal Wilkenfeld. She is one of, if not the most famous bass players in the world. She's known for playing with Jeff Beck at 16. She played with Greg Allman. She's played with Prince. She played with Jackson Browne. She's played with Tom Petty. I mean, her musical pedigree is unmatched. Um, the greatest guitar player. I mean, that's all subject to what kind of music you like to, Mike. Like I'm a metalhead, so obviously I would say Van Halen, Randy Rhoads. You know, I mean, obviously Yngwie Malmsteen's great if you like that style of music. Um, since I grew up in the 80s, I'm a big Jake E. Lee fan, George Lynch, Warren DeMartini. But if you don't like 80s metal, you're going to think those guys aren't good. Obviously, you have like guys like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Clapton, Jimmy Page, and then you have like guys who are influential, maybe not the greatest players, but they're influential, like Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley is not a great technical guitar player. That's my dog coughing. Sorry about that. But there's probably not many guitar players who have influenced more people than Ace Frehley. And obviously Jimi Hendrix, and I mean, there's, Chuck Berry, so many people who are, depending on Roy Clark is like, people like what? But you listen to some of his country albums, like his picking was unbelievable. Yeah, I'm friends with the singer, Ralph Saines. Of course, everyone calls him David Lee Ralph because he's also the singer in probably the best ever Van Halen tribute band, Atomic Punks. I knew the drummer, Styx Sedenya. I don't know the new bass player, but I'm a big fan of theirs. Yeah, I mean, Mark Knopfler's an amazing guitar player. Are you chiefly a classic rock guy or big into other genres? I mean, I like all music. I mean, I love the Cars. Elliot Easton's a great guitar player. Am I saying he's the greatest guitar player of all time? No, I'm just saying, I like his playing for the Cars. Who else? Slash, great guitar player. I like a band like Dire Straits. And then I'll like a band like Wang Chung, which is not really a guitar-driven band, but, Bon Jovi, early Bon Jovi. I don't really dig the new stuff. So, yeah, I mean, Steve Lukather is probably the most, he's probably played on the most albums out of anybody. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, Paul, we could go on and on. Paul Gilbert. I mean, John Sykes, who unfortunately just passed away. A great Vivian Campbell, a great guitar player. Adrian Vandenberg. I mean, you could go on and on. I mean, there's so many just from the '80s alone. I like the guitar player from Weezer. I don't know his name, but I only know Rivers Cuomo. The Killers, Dave Koenig, I'm a big fan of. That's not really a metal band at all, but you could tell he has metal roots. Any band who popped, say, from the mid-'90s to now, they probably grew up listening to '80s metal. So, you can definitely hear some tapping influences in Rivers Cuomo playing. And then, in the '70s, Tom Schatz from Boston, great guitar player. And then if you like, like Greg Allman and Prince was a great guitar player. I mean, there's so many. I mean, there's probably 100 guitar players you could throw in the discussion of the top guitar players, depending on genre. I don't like, was it Vernon Reid from Living Color? The guy's a virtuoso. Steve Stevens is a favorite of mine. One of my top 10, Steve Stevens. And even his non-Billy Idol work is awesome. He put out a flamenco album that's like awesome. I think it's called Flamenco A Go Go, and he put out some albums with Terry Bozzio on drums, and I think was it Satriani? I mean, Satriani's another player. Carlos Santana. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Dick Dale, if you like surf music. Um, so it's really, I mean, it's a great question, Mike, but it's a very long answer. So you could do that in sports. Someone asked me the other day who I thought the greatest hockey player was, and most people will say Wayne Gretzky just because the sheer amount of points that he scored. I mean, you could take away all of Wayne Gretzky's goals. So if Wayne Gretzky had 0 goals in his career, he would still be the all-time leading scorer with all the assists that he had. But personally, I think the greatest hockey player of all time is Mark Messier, just because he wasn't as gifted as Gretzky was offensively, but he also added a little bit of vinegar. He'd cross-check you in the mouth if he felt like it. And you could say that with drummers, quarterbacks. I mean, of course, Tom Brady's genuinely acknowledged as the greatest because he won 7 Super Bowls. I mean, I don't think that'll ever be done, even by Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes would have to win another 4 Super Bowls. I did okay in the '80s. I scored more in the last 10 years than I did in the '90s. Trust me on that one. So it's just. Whenever you ask me who is the best at this particular sport or whatnot, it's hard because it's so subjective. Who's the greatest comic of all time? Well, if you don't like dirty comedy, you're not going to like Dice Clay, or Kennison. If you don't like, act out style comedy, you're not going to like Dane Cook or D'Elia. If you don't like kind of that blue collar angry comedy, you're not going to like Bill Burr. If you don't like thinking man's comedy, you're not going to like Stephen Wright or Mitch Hedberg. So it's tough, but that's a great question, Mike. Thank you very much, and thank you for being a new subscriber. For those of you who are in the stream right now who don't know who the hell I am, what up, Rudy? My name is Earl Skakel, and I'm a stand-up comic in Los Angeles, California. I do a lot of voiceover work, and I'm at the Comedy Store every week. If you're ever in Los Angeles, come check me out. I'll give you a tour of the club after. It's part of the perks of being a member of this channel. If you're ever in LA, I give you a VIP tour of the club, which is pretty iconic. And if you don't want that, you just want to go to the show, I'll put your name on the list. We don't even have to meet. Take me up on that offer, please. And, hit the like and subscribe button. That helps too. Do you have any of your stand-up footage on your? Yeah, all my stand-up footage is on my YouTube page. I try and upload a short of one joke every day, and you can. And I have longer videos. I think I have a few 10 to 20 minute videos. I also have some roasting videos of me doing my thing. And if you like cartoons, I'm on The Jellies, which is by Tyler, the Creator. I play the father on his cartoon, The Jellies, which I believe is on Adult Swim, the Cartoon Network, and HBO Max. You can also see it on YouTube. I don't know if there's any full episodes on YouTube, but there's enough to whet your appetite. And what else? I was on the Showtime show I'm Dying Up Here. I was on a couple episodes of the Rob Schneider show Real Rob on Netflix. So I'm all over the place. And I don't know if I'll ever be in Wisconsin doing comedy, but if I am, come as my guest, Mike. I'm not sure what the big comedy club there is. I don't do the road a lot, but I every now and then venture out of my Los Angeles cocoon and hit the road. And nothing like getting in some road work on a non-Los Angeles crowd. I do Canada every now and then. I've been to Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal a few times. I'm rarely in New York, but every now and then I am. And when I am, I play The Stand, which is the best club there. And outside of that, just I download a few videos or upload a few videos to YouTube every day. I'm trying to crack that fucking algorithm. I don't do very many impressions. Unfortunately for me, Mike, my voice is so deep that it is very hard for me to mimic, like say Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, I do a bit of a Schwarzenegger impression, but it's not very good. Like if you've ever seen the movie Predator, I can do Schwarzenegger's movie from The Predator. You set this up, the CIA, the cabinet minister. You dropped the six of us in the meat grinder. I've performed at the Hollywood Improv, not a lot. Been probably a year or so since I've been there, maybe even 2 years. I don't remember. Going on Gutfeld still. That's the plan, but I've done all I can on my own to do that, and now you just have to kind of sit and wait for them to call you. And that would be nice. It would help me out. It's not going to make me famous or anything, but it is a show that's, it's probably the number one panel show right now, and I think I'd do pretty good on a panel show. So we'll see. I'd be excited to do it. And I love going to New York. So I hope that happens sooner than later. But until then, I'm in LA, and I'll be at the Comedy Store this week. Of course, we don't find out till later on today. I will keep you guys posted. And people are asking me about the fires and the mudslides out here. The fires are not out. The Palisades fire, I think it's almost contained, but we did get a healthy dose of rain yesterday, but now we got to worry about the fucking mudslides. So, and it's cold out right now, so it's good. It's cold for us. It's definitely not cold for someone who lives in, say, Winnipeg. But, I think when I did comedy in Winnipeg, it was minus 21. No wind chill. Straight up, no wind chill. Have you ever been to Oroville Lake and Dam? I don't know where is that? I guess if I'm asking where it is, I'm giving away that I've never done it. But that's out here, isn't it? So I haven't been to too many dams. California, I pretty much play the clubs in Hollywood. I have done the Hermosa Beach Magic Club every now and then, the Ice House in Pasadena. But I've been on Kill Tony a few times, Hubba Hubba. And so that's about it. It's been a pretty... I've been doing comedy for 25 years, so it's been a long haul, that is for sure. Do you know Rudy Sarzo? I know of him. One of the great bass players of my generation. Started off in Quiet Riot, jumped to Whitesnake, and then he's all over the place. I think he's back in Quiet Riot now. But he does a lot of session work as well. You know, I think for a while he was playing in Blue Oyster Cult. I mean, he can play in anything. So, yes, the Ice House Chronicles, one of, the Red Band, a great show. Um, Back when he was living in, I believe, Burbank, and it was always a fun time Friday nights. I made a lot of friends doing that show, and I miss those days. And it was a great setup. Basically, what the Ice House Chronicles were was you do a set in usually the small room, and then you'd bring up someone, and then you'd go and do a podcast for a bit. And the amount of marijuana that was in that room, and people would smoke cigarettes. That's the only thing I didn't like about doing that show was people would also. I don't mind weed smoke, but cigarette smoke, because my hair is thick, it just stays in my hair for days. So I didn't really dig that. Yeah, I mean Stevie Ray Vaughan, and it's tragic. It's the same thing along the lines of Buddy Holly and um, the Big Bopper and Richie Valens. Um, just an awful way. What a talent to lose. And Randy Rhoads, same thing. I mean, who knows what heights. You think of all the great guitar work that Randy Rhoads did, and he was really only in the public eye a few years. That's the unfortunate thing. What he would have done in the 80s. And I think he was about to leave Ozzy. I think he would have been with Ozzy about the same amount of time as Jakey Lee, a couple more years maybe, and then he would have, he probably would have ended up in a band like Whitesnake. But he was an amazing guitar player. I never got to see him live, but you listen to those albums he was on with Ozzy. It's like, and it really I think there was two Quiet Riot albums that were released in Japan only that were pretty good. I mean, Quiet Riot before they made it they were a good band. I mean, they were basically. And a lot of people don't realize this because their classic lineup, they were like a shooting star. They hit real big and they fell real big. But, before, like Rudy Sarzo was in the band, and Frankie Banali and Carlos Cavazzo, it was Kevin Dubrow, Randy Rose, Kelly Garner, and I forget, Drew Forsythe, I think was the guy's name. That band was seen really as Van Halen's main competition, which is crazy to say because people are like, "What?" But like on the LA scene anyway. Yeah, I mean backstage parties with musicians, '80s musicians, they're just on another level. I mean, they go hard in the paint, man. Let me tell you that much right now. They they live hard, they party hard, they work hard, and it's I wasn't quite around for the '80s. Yeah, I mean Dubrow definitely burned some bridges, and he liked to party pretty hard. I remember once I was at the Porno Awards in Vegas, and I wasn't there for the awards. I was there because David Lee Roth was playing. And I walk into an elevator with my friend Brent Fitz, who drums for Slash, and he drums for everybody. And Kevin Dubrow walks in, and then these two hookers walk in. And Kevin Dubrow looks at the girls, and then he looks at me and Brent and goes, "AIDS or herpes, you make the call." Um, I've never been to a Diddy party. I've been to the Playboy Mansion twice. Never been to a Diddy party. But you know what? I just know in my heart that there's going to be some comics names that come out of that. Because I know some comics that have some dirty habits that fall right along in line with those Diddy parties were about. I've met Ron Jeremy a bunch. He used to come up to the Comedy Store, gooning or grooming. I don't know what you mean by that. And then whenever I would go to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, he would be there mooching food off people. He's a fucking pig. I mean, He basically got, I don't know what gooning means, to be honest with you, Michael. Um, basically, Ron got Me Too'd out of the porno business. So, that's kind of like, and he's in jail now. I mean, multiple rape charges. I mean, um, you know, what are you going to do? He used to come to the comedy store, and he's got that disease, narcolepsy, where he sleeps, like he just falls asleep. And so he would be in the Mitzi Shore, the owner's seat in the original room. He'd come in, and we all knew it was him. He's a pretty distinct looking guy. And he would just fall asleep. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I've had a few friends of mine host the porno awards. I mean, my friend Steph Tolov just hosted it this weekend. My really good friend when I first started comedy, Danielle Stewart, she also hosted the porno awards. Kate Quigley has hosted the porno awards. I do know Pauly Shore. I didn't know his mom very well. I only met her, unfortunately, when she was not in the best of health, so it was a little tough, to be honest with you. I didn't want to see her in that condition, and unfortunately, I did. But she's up in heaven now and out of pain. So we'll just go about another 3 minutes, guys. I do realize it is 1:30 in the morning for me, so get your last minute questions in. If you're one of the 11 people in here and you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so. That would help me out a lot. It actually helps me more than the super chats. You'd think a comic would want the money, honey, but the likes and subscribes help a lot. Earl, you gonna watch the Royal Rumble, and who do you got winning? I don't watch WWE programming. I'm an AEW man. So I don't really know any current storylines in the WWE right now, unfortunately. I just love AEW. And, they're doing a lot of things wrong in AEW, but they do a lot of things right. I mean, they've got a good night, Mike. Very nice to meet you. Good night from Wisconsin. Mike America. Sounds like a fake name, but who cares? We don't do the God talking here, Chaz. Go to another channel for that shit. But before you do go to the other channel, like and subscribe. Well, I'm just trying to make a buck or two. So 2 more minutes, guys. I'm giving you guys the 2-minute warning for a very late night Earlverse stream. I appreciate you guys staying up with me. And I'll probably stream tomorrow a lot earlier. But go to sleep, you guys. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to walk my dog, Lois, and then I'm going to go to sleep and take hot yoga in the morning, and then come home and write some dick jokes. So I hope that you guys, have a fun day tomorrow, whatever you do. And I hope that you guys come back. Pat Patterson used to chase me through an alley. Are you telling a little fib there just to get some last minute attention? Earl does a great downward hog. I mean, I do sometimes have to adjust my weenie. My weenie is lonely tonight. She cries when I turn out the lights. My wiener. That's a great Bowling for Soup song. Of course, longtime guitar player Chris Burney has retired from touring, so Bowling for Soup is now down to the original singer, my friend Jared Reddick, and Gary, the drummer. So my butt still hurts. Well, that's a personal problem. We don't talk about hemorrhoids in this stream. Michael, I've got enough trouble probably trying to get people in here at 1:30 in the morning. They're not going to stay here talking about your hemorrhoids. So that is it for tonight, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. I've put out a lot of shorts lately of my comedy. Please like them, and I don't know if you can share them or whatnot, but hey, it helps if you can. And get some preparation H, Michael, on your butt, and I might go to All In, but I know in March AEW is in Los Angeles, so I might, I got to save my dollars. Of course, I can get a free ticket because I know so many AEW guys, but I want to see what the card is like. I mean, I would go to All In, but I got to make sure it's a banger of a card. It's like Osprey and Omega and Okada. Heard only 10,000 tickets have sold. Well, when is it's in July though, right? So they got some time. I mean, you got to build up the card though. That's you know, you're talking about the card in July, right? Um, I mean, they have scaled back their venues, which I think is good. I mean, I went to AEW Dynamite in Bakersfield, and I would say that's a pretty small arena, and it was half full. So, but they were also expecting people to drive from LA to see a 5 o'clock show in Bakersfield. I mean, I think I left at like um, 11, and I barely got there. Yeah, I mean, mid July. I'm not worried about those low numbers yet. I mean, you figure by July that I think it'll sell out, but it's also um, what happens between now and then. Like, does Shane McMahon come in? If he came in and that was his first pay-per-view, that would be a big pop. Um, or someone from the WWE, that's their debut, is that card, So I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I did notice that this year their second London show didn't quite sell out like the first London show did. So, I mean, AEW, there's certain things they're behind on, to be honest with you. They'll always be behind the WWE and technical, production. But yeah, I mean, if Vince went to AEW and that was his first, that they could move to a football stadium. I know Earth sucks. A 4 a.m. It is late. It's a late night in the Earl world, and I'm going into overtime right now because I hit the goal of $1.14. I don't like to make a lot of money on these streams. I like to just make as little as possible. So, and I don't do 5, 6 hour, grift sessions. I do a nice tight hour, and tonight it's going to be a little under an hour because I'm fading fast, baby. It's 1:30 in the a.m. and Daddy is tired, and Daddy must get up tomorrow at probably about 8 a.m. to walk the dog and then mentally prepare for hot yoga, which is no joke, babies. So I'm gonna call it. We'll go to 45 minutes, which is in 1.5 minutes. So get your last minute questions in. Yes, that was hardcore wrestling. Someone sent me a YouTube. It's on YouTube, so check this match out if you're a fan of old school wrestling. It was a house show of Jesse the Body Ventura and Hulk Hogan in 1985, Minnesota. And it was great because Jesse the Body came out with Chick, Prince's bodyguard, who was this giant man. Hot yoga is basically regular yoga, but the room is 105 degrees. So you do it to sweat out the toxins and whatever else is in your body. It's really also for my mind. I miss Fandango's escort. I think she was Sunny. Damn, I haven't heard that name in a while. Fandango. Damn, that's a deep cut. That's a good. That's a good thing to end the stream on. Fandango. Um, well, I also think, Michael, though, there's also Bikram yoga, which I might be wrong on this, but Bikram yoga is like 125. It's very intense. Um, So that is, I've never taken a Bikram class because I love you too, Ursucks. Thank you. I love all of you. You know, I'm a small streamer, you know, no doubt about it. But yeah, beefer yoga. So I love you all. You guys have been good to me. I'm not going to do too many streams at 1:36 in the morning. But I will try and stream at the same time because I know people, it helps them if they go, hey, it's 5 p.m. It's time to watch Earl instead of this random rogueness that I do. So I do apologize for that. Earl Skakel over and out in the Earlverse. Good night.